Honestly, that is one of the biggest reasons why I draw every single day and why doing a sketchbook like this could help you massively. What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be jumping in and having a look at a project that I do a couple of times a year, and that's doing a 30-day sketchbook. A sketch a day over a whole month. These are really, really beneficial, and I've had a lot of people asking about what mine look like and why I do it. So let's jump in, have a look at the process, have a look at some of the pages, and go from there. So this was done throughout December of 2022. I actually started this the day before December started. I like to put the date on all my sketches. It's just a way to sort of remember where I'm at. It's specifically useful in a project like this where I'm drawing every day. If we have a look at this page here as well, I've got a little bit of tape, and you can see there's actually about 3 different versions. You might not be able to see it there. If we go to the overhead view, I've got the original one, and then I refined it a little bit as well. So what I will often do to take pressure off myself is I'll sketch down my original ideas, and then I will maybe chuck it on a light board, do another piece over the top, and then I'll come through for the final design with a bit of tracing paper over the top, and then I just tape it all down. And I really like that idea of building a piece over time, and it doesn't have to be perfect straight away, because nothing in this book is perfect. Nothing that we do in art really is perfect, but it's a way to keep developing ideas as they go on. So page 1, very cool skull snake. Day 2, surprise, surprise, another skull. I love drawing skulls. Each one is unique. You can do so much with them. You can stylize them to whatever style you're working with. Another one here, I went for a bit more of a pirate theme with this one. I really like how this one's turned out. And this is a good example of how I use mixed media in my art. So I actually drew this skull here on my iPad originally, and it was just a skull with a few of these little tattoo designs on it. And I didn't really do anything else with it. It was sitting there for months and months. I saw it when I was about to do a sketch for day 2, and I said, I want to work with this piece. So I printed it out, and I've pasted it in my book here, and I've continued on with the other elements around it. And it's a reason why I suggest saving a lot of the art you make. Even if it's in just a random folder, save it. You never know what you're going to do with it. Day 3, I really like this piece. It's different. It's a bit unique, very neo-traditional. You can see all my working lines here in the background. Sitting on this big pedal. This is a Norse word here. I've forgotten what it is. I think it means jump or something like that. I know it's got something to do with the frog, but this piece is cool. Again, no plans for this yet in the future. Moving right along, day 4, a piece that really tested me, my sad robot. I knew I wanted to draw a robot. I had no idea it was going to become what it became, and it was a very detailed piece. This pushed me quite a bit in terms of perspective and obviously detail, and making sure it was a robot, but it had some sort of human resemblance when it comes to a head and shoulders and a neck, but utilizing pieces of machinery for that. Moving along, next day, we have what I like to call a study. I do studies sometimes. It helps me hone my skills and really figure out how to draw certain things that maybe I wasn't comfortable drawing beforehand. On the top left in the middle here, I've just got a few sort of structural elements there about how the nose is kind of formed. And then throughout, I just went through a lot of different angles so I could really get my head around it. And then throughout, you can see I've even gone in with the medical terms for each part of the nose, you know, bridge, ala groove, septum, dorsum. Really love that one. Moving along to the next day, we have a peony flower, but this was something that I really wanted to draw, and this is a piece that I wanted to highlight along with the next day as well. I'm really glad these are side by side, because these 2 pieces became a skate deck. The skate deck is currently what I'm working on. I've filmed the whole process from start to finish. It's going to be a video on my channel very soon, and you're actually going to be able to win this skate deck by entering a competition. So I'm really excited to give that away and for you to see what that deck looks like. But this is a great example of how I turned this day and the following day into a piece of art down the road. Let's move on to the next day, and yes, we have more skulls, but 2 skulls that I am super proud of. I love my Reaper skull on this page. I think it's fantastic. I really love the layout, the positioning, the aesthetic of the skull. It's dark, it's different, and it's a Reaper. It's got its Reaper hood on. I love everything about Reapers. I think they're awesome. And again, the one color throughout, that darker green, army green pencil. Very cool piece, this one. And then my skull redraw. So another good example of me drawing a piece and then not being happy with it, but revisiting it later on. So I had drawn this skull initially with the paintbrush, pencil, and Apple Pencil going through the eye, coming out the back of the head. I liked it. It just sort of sat. I never really did anything with it. And then I revisited it. I had it open on the iPad while I was drawing this day, and I said, I like this design. It's sort of 60% there. It needs something. And then I added these flowers, these more open flowers around it, and added in barbed wire, which I never really draw barbed wire, but I absolutely love this design. This will be somewhere in the future. I think it may be a canvas. I'm not too sure. But as you can see, this is the beauty of having this practice happening in your life as an artist. I have so many designs that I can pull from in the future through 1 month of drawing, while I was already doing other art as well on the side, but some of these took maybe 30 minutes out of my day. But it was a great practice to have, and it just gave me so much to draw from. Moving along, another animal, a sneaky giraffe. So my 4-year-old boy, he loves animals, and I asked him this day, I said, what should I draw? And he goes, Dad, you gotta draw a giraffe. And I was like, can't complain with that, let's do it. My sneaky giraffe, I love him. And then the next day, so what are we on to, December 9th now? This was at request of a friend of mine that I work with, Izzy, if you're out there, you know this piece. I've almost finished it. It's a really cool piece designed around Doctor Who, the TARDIS. Not quite finished yet, but very close. So don't worry, Izzy, this is coming your way soon, but I do really like the direction this is heading. Continuing on with the animal theme, hook, line, and sinker. Really like this fun little goldfish design. We have the crane on the other side. I am very influenced, and always have been, by Japanese art and culture. Next day was a very interesting day. I wanted to draw some form of a bird, and I decided to draw more of a neo-traditional eagle. I can already see a piece that I've missed here. I needed to add a little bit more of this backing in that part under the beak where the tongue ends. On the next page, went more of a traditional vibe for this one. I wanted to draw some very iconic, traditional tattoo pieces, trad stuff. This day was fun, really simple. Probably only spent 20 minutes on this page, but really enjoyed it. Next page, one of my more interesting designs, my caterpillar, caterpillar, put them together. No idea what this is meant for. This was purely just me using my imagination, and yeah, caterpillar is kind of cute. I like it, it's different. Next page is really interesting. Again, not everything in this book needs to be a finished sketch. It doesn't even have to be half finished, and this is a really good example. I wanted to set out on this day drawing a neo-traditional design. I was going to do a whole headpiece and everything, and then I really started to focus on her proportions and trying to get that face right. Sometimes you just need to get the idea out, and it can turn into something in the future. So watch this space. Another mixed media piece on the next day, December 16th. Mamiya, any God of War fans out there, you'll love this one. I'm absolutely obsessed. This was done on my iPad. The initial head design was done on the iPad. Spent many hours sketching that. As I said, I'm trying to push more into realism this year, but I think the piece needed a bit of roughness to it and something that I wasn't quite getting. So I ended up printing out this page, glued it in the book, and then I did all the other work around it. So we added the portals, or the realm portals, in the background, and then this word in the background. I think it means knowledge or something like that. I can't remember. If anyone knows the translation, again, please let me know. But this was really fun, and I love the look of this, and I don't think I would have got it to this point if it was digital the whole time. That brings us to December 17th, the heart and the arrow. I talked before about drawing a lot of skulls, but the other thing I draw a lot of is arrows. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. I think it was a really fun day of drawing, and yeah, looks really cool in the end. Next day, December 18th, what do we have? Blade and waves. So this one, I really was inspired this day by Japanese waves. Next page, another study of sorts. I was inspired by inner ear tattoos. I've got some myself. So I thought, let's do a whole page of ears and then work on the inner ear designs. So I drew one ear outline, replicated it 9 times, printed that off, and then I had my template and I could just go ahead and draw. What do we have in there? We've got a few, we've got a spider web, sunset, we've got a candle, a whole bunch of patterns, just really simple. Really wasn't going for any style specifically, but I love how this has turned out. December 20, we're pretty far through the month here. Rows and arrows again. I love arrows in designs. Love this rose, a bit more of a spread out pattern with the leaves coming out of the rose. The leaves are almost the highlight piece of this design. I really, really love this. And then moving along, continuing on with the ears that we talked about before, we have an ear study. Again, I love doing these style of studies. I've got at the top of the page, proportions about the ear, very basic, into which sections are which. December 22nd, very basic skull, looking really nice. And then on to December 23rd, my baked potato. What else to say? This is a baked potato. This was fun, again, working with puns, trying to draw things that kind of have a double meaning. Baked potato is cool. Moving right along. It's December 24th, Christmas Eve. Love this design. Very, 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 very cool. As you can see here, I've got a little bit of tracing paper for this flower. So what I ended up doing was drawing this torch down the middle, and then I drew this flower on the left-hand side here. It's more of a fancier flower. And what I wanted to do is I did want to have really good symmetry in this. So what I did was got a piece of tracing paper, traced over that flower, flipped it, cut it out, and then stuck it down with a bit of double-sided tape. And then I've got really nice symmetry, and I can go and do what I want with this now. December 24th, a little bit hard to draw on that day. It was a little bit busy, but I was a little bit obsessed this day with the idea of drawings inside of other objects. So we've got the lightning bolt coming down here, and then we've got some nice little flowers inside of that, which I think is kind of cool. I was really just experimenting with the idea, so the imagery itself didn't matter too much, but I do really like this style. Mandala flower on December 26th. Again, I've used the same technique when it comes to, it's a bit hard to get off, but my tracing paper. So what I've done is I worked with making half of this perfectly symmetrical. Really, really like the feel of it. It's definitely by no means done. It's very simple, but I've never really drawn a lot like this. So again, continuing with that theme of pushing myself. And the final day of drawing was this trad snake. I wanted to keep it very simple. Again, I wanted to practice traditional again. I love snakes. I think they're fantastic to draw. I love how this is looking. Most of the design has these cool double lines here, which you see through a lot of traditional. I can see this having some really nice strong blacks and reds in it in the future. But for what it is, I love it. It's simple, it's basic, it's strong, and it could definitely lead to something in the future. And that's it. That's 30 days of sketching. That was a sketch a day for 30 days. I love all of these pieces. Some will not turn into anything. Some will be pieces that I do next week. Some will be done in a few months. Some I'm already working on right now. But you can see the benefit of setting this practice for yourself and how far it can take you. You may draw things you never thought about drawing, and you may be able to use these pieces who knows when down the road. So I encourage everyone out there to pick up this practice. It's great. Even if you start out with one sketch a week and then it turns into a couple a week, and then maybe you are sketching every day. Digital art is fantastic, but to take that further, sometimes we have to look back at where we came from with those pencil and paper techniques. I hope everyone gets out there and keeps sketching, and until the next sketchbook review, I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.